Have you ever found an old, dirty penny at the bottom of a drawer or buried in a jar of loose change? Some of the most ordinary-looking Lincoln Wheat Pennies, covered in dust and years of history, are secretly hiding life-changing value. From ultra-rare minting errors to pennies struck in the wrong year or metal, collectors are paying jaw-dropping amounts for coins that most people overlook. In this video, we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and mind-blowing errors of the 1955 wheat penny, one of the most famous mistakes the US Mint ever made, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify one of these rare coins, because you might just have one sitting in your pocket right now. So stay tuned, because what you're about to learn could turn an old cent into a life-changing fortune. The history behind the 1955 wheat penny. The story of the 1955 wheat penny begins in a year of transformation for America. It was post-World War II America, and prosperity was booming. The U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins to meet growing demand, and the Lincoln Wheat Penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already become one of the most beloved coins in circulation, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams, diameter, 19 millimeters. Other 1955 era varieties. Double die error. $5,000 to $15,000. Double die error. $10,000 to $12,000. Off-center strike error. $2,000 to $4,000. Clipped planchet error. $19,000 to $30,000. How to identify one. Here's how to make sure your coin is the real deal and not a poor man's version. Examine the text. Look closely at Liberty. The doubling should be bold, sharp, and easily visible without magnification. Check the date. All four digits show strong doubling, especially the 9, 5, and the final 5. Confirm the reverse. The reverse side should appear normal, no doubling there. Authentication. Send it to PCGS, NGC, or Annex for grading. Only professional certification can confirm authenticity and maximize value. Never clean your coin. Cleaning removes natural luster and can cut its value by 90%. We're uncovering the hidden treasures behind the 1957 D-era wheat penny coins, so rare that even expert collectors lose their minds when one shows up at auction. We'll break down its fascinating history, every known rare error, and the shocking values these coins have sold for. So grab your magnifying glass and stay with me until the end, because what you learn today might just turn the change in your pocket into a small fortune. History of the 1957 D wheat penny. The 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny marks one of the final years of the famous wheat cent series, a design that had been part of American life since 1909, created by Victor David Brenner to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By the mid-1950s, America was thriving. The Denver Mint was striking billions of pennies to meet the post-war economic boom. Composition, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19 millimeters. Designer, Victor David Brenner. The most famous 1957 D-era varieties. Double die obverse DDO. $12,000 to $15,000. Double die reverse DDR. $9,000 to $10,000. Off-center strike error. $3,000 to $4,000. Clipped planchet error. $10,000 to $1,500. Wrong planchet error. $25,000 to $30,000. How to identify rare 1957 D errors. Now, how can you tell if your 1957 D penny is worth a fortune? Look at the mint mark D. Check for doubling, shadowing, or repunching under magnification. Check the obverse lettering. Inspect Liberty and for signs of doubling or die cracks. Examine the reverse. Look for thickened lettering or split serifs in E pluribus unum. Analyze shape and centering. An off-center strike or clipped edge can signal a major minting error. Weigh the coin. A wrong planchet error may weigh less than 3.11 grams. That's a red flag for something special. Get professional grading. Send your coin to PCGS, NGC, or Annex for authentication. Grading not only confirms your find but can multiply its value overnight. We're uncovering the truth behind one of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever struck in U.S. history, the 1945-era wheat penny. From shocking mint mistakes to record-breaking auction prices, these little coins have stunned collectors worldwide. So grab your magnifier, hold tight, and let's dive into the thrilling, where a single cent could change your life. history of the 1945 wheat penny. America was emerging victorious, and the U.S. Mint was working around the clock to produce billions of coins for a booming post-war economy. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already been circulating since 1909, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and unity. The most valuable 1945-era pennies, off metal strike. $30,000 to $40,000. Doubled die obverse DDO. $17,000 to $25,000. Off-center strike error, $8,000 to $10,000. Wrong planchet error. $15,000 to $25,000. How to identify and verify your coin. Here's how to check if your 1945 penny is special. Look at the color. Bright red or orange equals high-grade copper. Silver or gray tone equals possible off-metal strike. Use a magnet. If it sticks, could be struck on a leftover steel planchet. Check for doubling. Look closely at Liberty, the date, and the motto. Inspect the mint mark. Look for shadows or split impressions, RPM. Weigh it. Normal, 3.11 grams. Anything lighter or heavier could indicate a foreign planchet. Never clean your coin. Cleaning ruins luster and can slash value by 90%. If your coin shows any of these features, it's worth getting graded by PCGS or NGC, the two top professional grading services. The story behind the 1944-era wheat penny, one of the most shocking and valuable coins ever discovered in U.S. history. A small mistake at the U.S. Mint turned an everyday copper coin into a collector's dream come true, a coin so rare that even expert numismatists go crazy trying to find one. Stay with me till the end of this video, because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to look for. The history behind the 1944 wheat penny. Let's step back to 1944. World War II was raging across the globe. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to conserve metals for the war effort. In 1943, the Mint made a dramatic switch. Instead of using copper for pennies, they used zinc-coated steel to save copper for ammunition and military needs, but the public hated them. The 1943 steel pennies rusted easily, stuck to magnets. The rarest 1944-era pennies to look for: steel wheat penny, $50,000 to $70,000. Foreign planchet error, $10,000 to $25,000. Double die obverse DDO. $5,000 to $10,000. Off-center strike error, $3,000 to $6,000. How to identify a real 1944-era penny. So, how can you tell if your 1944 penny is the rare, valuable kind? Here's your step-by-step checklist. Check the color. Regular 1944 pennies are coppery red or brown. Steel ones are silver gray and magnetic. Test it with a magnet. If it sticks, jackpot. It could be the rare steel planchet error. Weigh the coin. Normal copper, 3.11 grams. Steel, 2.7 grams. Look closely at the mint mark and date. Doubling, repunching, or misalignment means added value. Check for off-center or planchet errors. These are easy to spot and can bring thousands. Don't clean or polish it. Cleaning destroys collector value. Even a valuable coin can lose 90% of its worth if cleaned. If you think you found one, send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Yes, I'm talking about one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1920-era wheat penny. We're diving deep into its hidden history, its rare minting mistakes, and the shocking auction values that will leave you speechless. So, grab your magnifying glass, because by the end of this video you might just discover that you have one of these million-dollar wheat pennies hiding in plain sight. History of the 1920 wheat penny. Let's rewind back to 1920, a time when the United States was still recovering from the aftermath of World War I. The Roaring Twenties were just beginning, and coins were an essential part of daily life. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909, was already a national icon. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin featured President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the first real person to ever appear on U.S. coinage. Rare 1920-era types to look for: double die obverse DDO. $25,000 to $50,000. Off-center strike, $10,000 to $20,000. Broad strike error. $5,000 to $7,000. Wrong planchet error. $45,000 to $57,000. How to identify a 1920-era penny. If you've got a collection of old wheat pennies, now's the time to take a closer look, because your 1920 penny might just be worth a fortune. Here's what to do. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's face. Any doubling? Extra thickness? You might have a double die. Check for off-centering. Is the rim uneven or missing on one side? That's a valuable error. Weigh your coin. If it's lighter or heavier than the standard 3.11 grams, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. Inspect the mint mark. If it's a 1920D or 1920S, look for signs of repunching or misalignment. And remember, even a slightly off or unusual coin can be worth way more than you think. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1936-era wheat penny has shocked collectors and sold for jaw-dropping prices at major coin auctions. We're uncovering the incredible history, rare errors, and unbelievable values continues to leave collectors speechless. Stick around till the very end, because one of these 1936 pennies could be sitting in your collection right now and it might just make you rich. The history of the 1936 wheat penny. Let's travel back in time to 1936, the middle of the Great Depression. America was struggling, but the spirit of the people remained strong. Coins like the Lincoln Wheat Penny were symbols of hope, small but mighty reminders of everyday life. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly 3 decades. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait. The 1936 era that could make you rich, double die obverse DDO. $30,000 to $60,000. Proof strike errors, $10,000 to $40,000. Off-center strike error. $10,000 to $20,000. Broad strike error, $3,000 to $5,000. Wrong planchet error, $25,000 to $35,000. How to identify a 1936 era penny. Here's how you can check your collection or pocket change for one of these hidden treasures. Use a magnifier or jeweler's loupe, 10x, inspect the date and the motto for any doubling. Check the mint mark. Look for signs of repunching or slight misalignment on 1936D and 1936S coins. Examine the edges and design. Is it off-center, stretched, or missing part of the rim? That could be a broad strike or off-center error. Weigh your coin. A normal 1936 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it might be on the wrong planchet. Never clean your coin. Cleaning ruins the surface and can slash the value by 90%. Always handle it by the edges. If your penny looks unusual, get it professionally graded. It might just be your ticket to a small fortune. We're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1937-era wheat penny, a coin full of mystery, minting mistakes, and million-dollar surprises. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, because you might just have one of these rare coins sitting in your collection right now. So grab your magnifier, because what you're about to learn might turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. The history behind the 1937 wheat penny. Let's rewind to 1937, the tail end of the Great Depression. The American economy was beginning to recover, and pennies were in heavy circulation as people clung tightly to every cent. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, was already a beloved symbol of America's endurance. The rarest 1937-era pennies to look for: double die obverse, DDO. $50,000 to $75,000. Off-center strike error, $15,000 to $25,000. Broad strike error, $2,000 to $4,000. Wrong planchet error, $50,000 to $60,000. Die cracks and cuts. $5,000 to $6,000. How to identify a rare 1937-era penny. Now here's where you can get hands-on. Go grab your magnifying glass and check for these signs. Look closely at Liberty. If the letters look doubled or shadowed, jackpot. That's a double die. Check the edges and design. Is the coin stretched, off-center, or missing part of the rim? That's a broad strike or off-center error. Weigh your coin. Normal weight, 3.11 grams. If it's lighter or heavier, it might be on the wrong planchet. Inspect the mint mark. Double D or S, that's an RPM. Never clean your coin. Cleaning destroys value. Collectors and graders can always tell. If you suspect you found an error, send it for grading right away. Today we're diving deep into the world of the 1952 wheat penny, one of the most surprising coins of the Lincoln series. Hidden among millions of ordinary pennies are a few rare minting errors so extraordinary that they've sold for life-changing money. So grab your magnifying glass, because this story of mystery, metal, and minting mistakes is about to blow your mind. History of the 1952 D Wheat Penny. To understand why the 1952 D penny is so collectible, we need to rewind to the early 1950s, a time when the U.S. economy was booming after World War II. In 1952, America was rebuilding, industries were thriving, and the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins to fuel a rapidly growing nation, the Lincoln Wheat Penny, designed by Victor David Brenner. The most valuable 1952 D-era pennies. Double die obverse DDO. $15,000 to $30,000. Off-center strike error. $4,000 to $10,000. Struck on wrong planchet error. $25,000 to $50,000. Clipped planchet error. $4,000 to $7,000. How to identify your coin. If you suspect your 1952 D penny might be special, here's how to check it. Use a magnifying glass or coin loupe 10x, 20x. Inspect the date, mint mark, and lettering for doubling or cracks. Check the coin's color and weight. A silver or off-colored tone might mean it's struck on the wrong metal. Weight should be around 3.11 grams. Anything off may indicate a foreign or dime planchet. Look at the rim and strike. Off-center, broad, or clipped edges can signal minting errors. Don't clean it. Cleaning destroys natural luster and can slash value by 90%. Get it graded. Send potential error coins to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Certified coins always bring higher auction prices.